of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire
Okay,
all around my
I think all the sound settings are right.
right. It's hard to breathe, but that's alright.
We are continuing our guide today. We're going to do some more black metal, which means more dry brush. This guy. Okay, I tried to set up a multi-stream, but it doesn't work. At least I didn't figure it out in enough time. But maybe next time. I'd love to stream to X, but apparently that's a paid service. We don't have $11 a month quite yet. Maybe soon. We'll see. All right. So today, I'm thinking that we're gonna do maybe two areas. I'm thinking the pauldron here and the chest area a little bit here. So, just like last time, if you remember, the light is already showing us where it wants to go. So, this side of the pauldron, and you can see that hard line down the middle, and nothing on the other side. So we're going to do the same thing. Remember, stippling, just like that. And we're going to use that on that side of the pauldron, because when we do the gold on the filigree, the gold is so opaque that it's going to cover up anything that we do. So it's going to look really cool when we do that non-metallic metal effect on the pauldron, and then under or on top is the regular gold. I would do a non-metallic metal for the gold, but I'm not quite confident enough in my use of brown, but who knows, maybe we will. Because non-metallic gold is actually sort of a similar process. You can even cheat by doing a brown underlayer and then stippling on gold lightly, which makes it look more like a burnished old gold, which some people like, but we're not going to do that this time. Maybe next time, unless we get really brave, but we'll start with this. So first thing we're going to do is load up our, well, what's the message for today, actually? Last time it was it's all gonna work out. This time, let's say, be brave. Do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Take some risks. Maybe we will. Probably not. And remember that the sponge is your best tool when it comes for dry brushing. And actually, it's not damp. So let me damp that up a little bit here. Thankfully I have access to water. At least enough of it. Okay. So, first things first, we're gonna load up our palette, and instead of doing palette cam, just gonna move the palette into view. Big stain right there on the sponge, which is always attractive. Everybody likes stains. So we're starting with the matte black, because remember that's our fixer, and the shadows, because it's black metal. If it was something else, we might use like a blue or something like that. And it was the deep gray and the ashen gray. So this is our dark mid-tone, and then our light mid-tone. Or actually, we could do this. Actually, we'll do it this. We're gonna go a little bolder. Or should we? Yeah. And if we mess up, who cares? Nobody's watching. And you're the only one who's gonna say like, that mid-tone's transition's a little harsh. No one will say that. If they do, you shouldn't be around them, because that person is a crazy person. Can you imagine somebody critiquing your painting that hard on like a tabletop setting? So these are our 3 colors. So that's going to give us our non-metallic metal tint. Zoom in on the palette. Dry brush, because this is the shape that we want for the stippling. Okay. Let's focus up. Our dry brush just a little damp. And we're gonna start with that in-between mid-tone. So remember, follow the light that's already given you that advantage. So loaded up the brush. Put it on the sponge. Check on the thumb. Pretty good. We just gotta do a light. Okay. Position. Protect it with my finger on the back here so it doesn't bounce. So the stippling is again going to give it that weathered effect, that old metal, something that's seen age, battle, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to make it look a little dusty. So you can already see that harsh transition. And then when we put the black as like the kind of edge transition, it's going to make it have that hot look, because I think it was a little too harsh right there, but it's okay. Now we'll do a little of the highlight mid-tone. You can actually do it on there, maybe mix the colors a little bit, so we can get kind of an in-between. Okay, so remember, let's be light touch, but if you mess up, you can always fix it black. Be sparing. Okay. So there's that. So see how highlighted it looks? It looks like it's matching that light reflection just right. So we're starting to cook a little bit here. Now let's transition to the black, because I want to kind of see what fixing those little edges might look like. Let's put a little black. Don't mind it getting into the gray. I'm putting it on the sponge. Check it on the thumb. Sufficiently dark. Okay. So I'm going to tap the edges here, specifically the middle, just to see if we can't get like a blended transition. Maybe the top too. There we go. And then a little bit on the corners here. Just to blend a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. And what's really going to sell that is those peak highlights. So the white that we were looking at before. So just like we did with the shin, and then the midline, or the middle of the sphere here, we're going to add those little peaks. So where would we see that? Probably on these little edges. That's going to make it really shine. So let's get some white and see if we can't add that effect. Shake cam. Shake cam plus sound. Last time we used the same, we're using all the same brushes. That 0, normal synthetic brush, not fancy. Okay. And remember what I said last time. You don't actually want the brush to be super wet when you're doing fine lines. As counterintuitive as it sounds, on your wet palette, you want to use just the moisture from the osmosis that's coming into the paint and the moisture from the paint itself. Because if you have that super wet brush, some people think like, oh, it needs to be loaded up. You're gonna end up with bleed, which means that the paint is gonna go in the wrong places. So let's see if we can't sell this effect a little bit. So I'm gonna try. Where would we see it? Maybe right here on the corner of that pauldron. And sometimes less is more, because we're just doing little tips and we can add more later if we need it. But I think this might benefit from just a little. Something like that. Maybe something like that, just to hit the edge. But not the bottom part here. Boom. I think that looks pretty good. So we're matching that sight line going from here up, that little gleam, and it's going to go right up here into the chest, which we're going to do next. But I think that we can make this look a little better. I'm going to try making the midline a little harsher, because that reflection, I think we can actually put a little white line in the mid part, just to make it seem like there's a pretty harsh transition. Increase the natural transition. See if we can't do that. So right in the middle. This is where I get to pretend I have a steady hand and mess up. We can always fix it. So, seems to be working. And you only need it in some areas. My paint, I have it so dry that it already dried out. That's kind of the consequence of, like I said, not bleeding. You're gonna end up having to load up the brush maybe a couple of times. There we are. There we go. So if that doesn't sell it, I don't know what will. But we'll put a little Klean at the bottom here too. Let's see if that works. I think maybe it was better without it, but we don't know. Maybe. But what might work is I want a little bit more stipple on that part. I want it to be a little harsher. Let's see if we can't do that. And if it doesn't work, we'll just fix it. So I left a little more on the brush this time, just to get some more obvious stippling. There we go. I think that's a little better. Let's do a little on the bottom. And remember, I know you're thinking, like, what about that Aquila? You're going to cover that Aquila with gold. Okay, so that's a little harsher. I think that that works. And if you disagree, this is not your model. Do your own black metal. See, maybe just a shade more of the mid-tone, just to darken it just a tiny bit. It's a little bold, I think. This is when you say, like, oh, you ruined it. No, that's good. I'm gonna stop. But I am gonna reapply those little white highlights on the corners, because I think I touched it. Easy enough. Little lids right in the corner there. The edge there. And why not? We'll actually do the glint across the top. Yeah. I think so. So we're really going to sell that front-facing position. We don't need to turn it. Although when we turn it, I think it'll still look good, but, you know. Hope nobody can hear the water cup. Okay, so let's try moving up to the chest. And just like before, see how he's standing right here. See where that gleam is? It's right in the bottom area, because our light source seems to be coming from this way. This way. So it's hitting that forward-facing gleam. So we'll take our dark mid-tone, starting with that. It's too wet. I think that... I'll fix it. So I'm probably going to hit this glove, but it's only one color, so we're going to be okay. I should have done the gloves later, but if we did the gloves and then touched this black armor, it would be a lot harder to fix than doing this right now. So we're gonna give this a try. So you have some pretty harsh light lines. So see how dark it is under here and in the corner. So we don't need to do all that much to give this effect. So I'm gonna try to do my best to be sparing and just hit this area. And you'll see that the Klean lines are really kind of what's gonna sell this one. So yeah, there we go. There's that mid-tone. Now we're gonna need a little of the lighter mid-tone. Put it up a little bit more. Build that high contrast area. But I want to do it with that stipple. There we go. So it really highlights that little area. And then we're going to do the Klean line. Or the glint line. Whatever you prefer. Right where it seems to be. So it's like this. If you can see it. And we really do want that harsh transition. And we'll fix some of that. So that's a little too harsh. I think we can fix it. We'll do that with the darker mid-tone. On the bottom. And around the edges. There we go. I think that's better. And I don't need that little bit. And here we go. This is an example of fixing some straight lines. This will be perfect. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the little glint line thinner. And this is a lot easier than painting with a tiny, tiny brush. Because the technique that I'm going to do is essentially I overpaint it with the white. And I'm going to come back with the undertone to make it seem thinner by just covering it up. So you'll see. Slowly covering that. Same thing going this way. Because that bottom piece, you do want that harsh transition. Because in metallics, transitions are very harsh. And you can make it look even better by fixing the bottom part right here, because this little pipe thing is a different type of metal that's going to actually use a metallic paint. Now, unlike the black metal that we're doing here. So see that? Keeping that transition. We're going really, really aesthetically pleasing. So, that chest piece, so the leg transitioning up into the pauldron and into the chest area. Next, we can do the helmet. So, coming up the middle, it's a really small area. So, you'll see the light there. It's that peak middle. There's only a little bit of that area that's not going to have gold filigree. So it's actually kind of easy going horizontal because the shape of our brush is sort of horizontal. We're just going to go up, and then we can do a pretty harsh sightline transition there. So still middle tone, light tone, and then harsh transition. Go up the head. I know you can't see. Consequence of my current camera setup. So see that light? Got that light coming up. Now we'll do that middle tone. That lighter middle tone. Again, I know you can't see. Sorry. Just a little bit. And then we're gonna do the peak highlights. The very most peak, middle. This one, I actually do have a more appropriate brush. This is that other, not fancy. This is the Tamiya modeling brush. I said that wrong. But you see, it's very pointy. It's not actually that thin, but it's very pointy. So, get this ready. Loading it up with the white. And like I said, quote unquote dry is the key here. Okay. Take a look at this. Just in the middle. Doesn't need to be perfect. But that white highlight really sells it. Perfect. Okay. So, see these light effects that we've done? I think that looks pretty slick. Makes it look like we have black armor. So, other places that we can do this. So, the pauldron here on the right hand side has a little bit of that same light transition. So, it's just darker. So we're gonna do that as well. Being careful not to hit our beautiful cape that we did. So loading up the dry brush, same technique, that mid-tone, but this time it's gonna be so light, it's gonna be hard to tell, but you might be able to tell. It's essentially the exact same, but even more sparing. You see that? Just some super delicate taps. We're not trying to cover it. And then we're going to do the exact same with the lighter mid-tone. It's going to be so... we may not even see it, but I'm going to try to give the example. And it's going to be down here. So see the bottom? This area is where the light was shining a little bit more. See if we can just... avoiding the top. See? That's enough. We don't need to do too much more. It's going to get one little glint. And that's going to be right on that one little corner. Right here. Maybe just a tiny, there we go. Yeah, I may have even overdid it with the glint, but I think that's going to be good. I'll fix it with the mid-tone. Those are our lighting effects. I want slightly harsher. Because we're kind of harsh everywhere else. There we go. I think that's better. I like that it's spotty. Okay. Another thing that you can do is like you'll do one thing too much and then you'll be like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. But I think we're looking pretty good. And if you don't, I can't help you. So see all those harsh transitions? Then you turn to the side. Turn to the side. Looks really good from this front angle. This curt angle. I made that joke last time. I think that looks pretty nice. Now when we come back to do the gold, it's gonna make everything pop even more, you'll see, because it'll be such a harsh transition between the two metals. And it's gonna look so different. Now, we can use a couple different golds here. I like the Citadel gold because it's pretty consistent. It has good coverage. The Retributor armor, and it's warm. It's got a good tone to it. Pick it up. So we're gonna put a little bit on just so that I can show you, like I said, that contrast between the two metals. Again. Retributor armor. Get some of that on the palette. It's plenty. So for this, same thing. Just the normal brush. And especially with metallics, you do not want to overwater these because this is incredibly difficult to fix when it's bleeding, and especially on stuff that you've already made like this. It's not impossible, but it's a pain in the butt. So let's try putting on some of this gold. Being careful not to hit the non-raised areas. If I wanted to, I actually have some loops that could help me with this. I may use them. You'll all get to see my super secret technique for doing tiny areas like this. Let me see. So I wear glasses. And I have these. So this is clip-on dentist loops. They work well because you can adjust them from here and the working distance is far, meaning I can actually hold this out here and see. Let's put this a little bit closer. Okay. Doing good so far. This is always one of the most stressful parts. And you don't have to be perfect with this. And what I mean by that is you don't have to get perfect coverage, because kind of that messed up coverage makes it look more convincing, makes it look older. Like, oh, it's got like chips in it. Yeah, maybe I don't need these. Use those for next time. I could just get closer. But I think we're looking pretty great so far. I'm out of focus. There we go. Dang manual focus cameras. So now that it's gotten a little drier, because I haven't changed the paint, if you noticed, it's going to get flatter. Like you can see the shape of the brush is a little bit flatter, which unironically makes it easier to do these kinds of surfaces, because you don't actually want the gold to get in between those little winglets, because it makes the illusion more convincing if the underneath is really dark. Don't put the gold paint under there. So there we go. Focus up. How about that? He's got a sick black armor with that gold transition. That looks great. Then I'm gonna ruin it with a big wash afterwards, which is not the right thing, but we can try. I may or may not, depending. Depending on what? I don't even know. I don't know anything that I'm doing. I'm pretending that I have any sort of foreknowledge of this or plan. I definitely don't. It's a good thing that nobody's watching quite yet. Hopefully they do soon. Or at least watch it as a VOD. I think that we're getting a little bit more viewership on the VODs. I should make more clips, because that seems to be helpful for you guys. And that's the end goal of this, is to be helpful. Because I really do get a few DMs. I'm like, how did you do that effect? And I don't know if you know, but explaining how to paint with words, like typed words, is extremely difficult. It's like reading a drawing. How do you do that? It's like, you know what, like for anybody who's ever had audio description, I have no idea how to do that. I'm not a professional. Okay. So we're gonna finish the filigree on this one. Oop. Messed up a little, went a little bit over there, but that's okay because we're actually on the side that you can fix with black. Doing the dots here. Really get those dots, because those little glint shines that they get really sell the effect in any kind of pictures you're going to take. Boom. How's that? I think it's pretty good. Keep going. We're on a roll. I'm going to do the glints of the top of the knee pauldron, or the knee sphere here. It's gonna look really good. Just being careful. This is when we get to pretend that we have surgical precision. When really it's just practice. It's not anything special. See, I already messed up there. But we can fix it with what? Black. Just gonna see if we can't get that one hidden away, but I can see it from here. Just a little bit. Right there. So it's hard to see from here, but again, when you look at a picture, it's gonna be really obvious. And this isn't some sort of heretical silver or just black metal Custodes. There's gold armor that's either been painted or specially burnished for the Shadow Keepers. We'll do this other pauldron so it can look symmetrical. And like I told you, doing this gold doesn't hinder the effect that we did before. It enhances it. Everybody was doubting. Everybody thought, Aaron, you're crazy. You'll never pull it off. And like most things, they said that, and they were right. But we don't have to tell them or admit that. Never, never admit it. This pauldron has this teeny tiny filigree. It's a good thing that, like I said, I had to learn this the hard way after trying to do a bunch of these. Is that when the brush starts to get dry, that's a good thing. Because the more wet it is, the more likely it's going to bleed and get into areas that you don't want, especially with super fine detail. The key for this is just go over it multiple times to get that coverage that you want. The paint is still wet. It's just not as wet as it could be. And that's what we want. Keep doing that snot sucking. I'm sorry. I don't know if the mic is picking that up or not. I hope it's not. I adjusted all the audio settings, so hopefully everything sounds a little bit better. I'm not peaking so much. I have no experience. Something that I'm always surprised by, that every time you do this, you get a little bit better. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. You get a little bit better. Sometimes you try something new and you think it's worse. Like, believe it or not, every technique that I'm doing for the black metal has been my first time ever doing it. I'm just experimenting. And I think it's turning out great. And so will all of you. At least I hope so. This is going to be a very weathered and burnished Shadow Keeper Custodes. He's been around. That little jewel. I wonder why Custodes have these jewels. I wonder if that's lore specific. Like, do they get more of them for something? Do they get them as like achievements, or is it naturally part of the armor? Do they do anything? Or is it all I mean, decoration is fine. We've got insane drip. Care about style. Unlike some of us. Put a little more on here. And in this case specifically, for this one, sometimes a little less coverage is better. And this one, that less coverage might sell that burnished look a little bit more. Like it's like, oh, it's battle weathered. But we don't have to take our own advice. We just keep painting. That's really the key. Just keep painting. Don't ever stop. Because you will get better. Or worse. No, you'll get better. The only time that you would ever get worse is if someone's literally telling you how to do it wrong, or you didn't care about it. If you didn't care about it, then you're not gonna learn anything. Okay. Almost done with this pauldron. Thigh protector. I keep saying pauldron. I don't actually think that's correct. It's some kind of thigh protector. I suspect only for drip. Okay. Now, I also do the bottom edges here in the gold. Let's see if that doesn't mess everything up. I don't think it will. So I hold it like this. Gonna go along the bottoms. Trying to be careful not to hit the top area, because I want to keep those white glints. There we go. And again, this is stuff that like you may not even see, but it's fun to do for me, so I like to do it. Okay. This is gonna be the hard one. I gotta get under here without messing up my white glints. And not touching the brush to the thigh. That would be really disappointing. Just be careful. Just be really careful. Do not hit that thigh. Please, God. There we go. So I went over that white glint a little bit, but I can reapply it. But having that gold there, it will look good in different angles. Actually do that white glint again, just so that I don't think about it. There we go. That looks really good. Looks like a nice weathered metal guy. We can do a little bit of the head, or we can attack this cape a little bit more. I think I want to do that. because we're still focusing really on the lower half. I think we can leave those things for a little bit later. Let's try this cape some more. Now remember, what are these separate colors? Orange and the moonbeam yellow. Get these on the palette. Less jokes today. I didn't have them. Hope you don't mind. Last stream I was joking the whole time. What I hope that everyone gets from this is how easy all these processes have been. Because if you've seen it, it's the simplest little moves. It's not anything special. But sometimes people just need to see it to understand. I'm gonna try this Tamiya brush actually to get a little bit more in this front flap. It's a little thinner, a little pointier. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Just getting that seam to go a little higher. Okay. Check the back here. Let's do a little bit more here. Being careful not to touch that beautiful textured surface. As much as humanly possible. But we're Custodes, so anything's possible. And if you get a little bit, you just say like, oh, that's weathering. That's more weathering. It's supposed to be like that. It's making it supposed to look like it's frayed at the end, when really you messed up. That's okay. It's your word against theirs. Who's gonna know? Yeah, that seems to be another theme. Like I told you guys to lie last time. And that theme continues. It works for painting. A lot of it's cheating. And a lot of it too is gatekeeping, unfortunately. Some people are like, oh, you gotta do this and you gotta master this technique, but really it's just a super simple, short tutorial, but it's behind a paywall because you gotta get paid, which is true. You do have to get paid. I hope to eventually be paid for doing exactly this. That would be fun. It'd be incredibly fun. Okay. A little bit more on there. I want it to be visible. Kind of doing a pull up from the bottom technique here to scrape the paint off into a visible area. Just to give it an outline. We may go really, really bold. And just at the bottom of these flips, we're gonna try it. And we're gonna mess it up. But you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. We're gonna be super light about it. Just a little orange right at the bottoms. Again, using that stipple method just to make it look a little more weathered. See if we can't sell that a little bit more. Okay, just at the peaks. Not trying to upset anybody. But I think it's working. It's definitely working. So now we have a little bit more weathering on those, and we're gonna go even harsher. We're getting that moonbeam yellow. We're going crazy. Somebody stop him. Get somebody like runs in like Apollo Creed. Get him away from him. He's dying. It's just painting. And if he dies, he dies. I'm so old. Don't know at all what I'm talking about. Rocky 4? Are you kidding me? Okay. Boom. I think, you know what? We can make that look better. I'm gonna make the orange go up a little bit higher. I know. I said it was gonna be light, but fuck that. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have sworn. Now I'm gonna get demonetized from the money that I didn't get. Just having the orange go just up a little higher. Okay. Oh yeah, this guy's looking real good. He's looking real Dark Souls-y. I think that's fantastic. Didn't expect this to turn out so well. But it is. But it is. Fantastic. I think we'll finish this off, at least this stream today. We're gonna do the gold on at least one little area up here in the chest, just so that you can see more of that stark contrast up there. And watch me mess it up right at the end. Wouldn't that be just the way? We can see. Something that's kind of funny is that this effect has made it pretty hard to see the little lightning bolt. So I gotta really try not to mess it up here. So I don't know if you caught that. I did. But yeah, it's not close enough, but my brush was too wet. Brush was way too wet. So it bled a little bit, not in any area that was important, but I caught it just in time. So we're gonna go again, drier. The other side. Let this sort of dry out using it on areas where you can fix, because this side, we haven't put that metal texture. So if we needed to use black, we could. Ugh, I need to get a bot in the chat so that I don't get that nasty cheap viewers. That's the second one that I've gotten. That sucks. Hope nobody falls for that, for real. There we go. Another key thing, especially with this version of it, I don't know if you guys can see, it's a little cross in there. First, I'm going to delete this guy's message. Get that out of here. Can't believe that the regular bot lets that get through. That's horrible. Okay. We are continuing to cook. I know I said that I was going to stream, at least in the scheduling thing, that I was going to stream a little longer. I don't have time today, but tomorrow I will stream a little bit longer. As much as I'd love to be doing this all day, 6-7 hours, that'd be fantastic, but I don't have that much time quite yet. Like and subscribe, and maybe I will. Maybe we can do one model in less than, I don't know, 9 or 11 or 12 streams, because this guy is going to take at least a few more, because I'm really enjoying it, and when that happens, it's hard to break away. Yo, there's always something else to do. It's the trap you fall into. Good. Okay. So today we did the pauldrons. We highlighted the cape even more and gave it a Dark Souls vibe. And we did the chest and the helmet. I think he's turning out pretty great, and I hope you all like it. So, I'll post some finished pictures today. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. I will see you again same time tomorrow, and you're gonna see just how simple this continues to be. Thanks everybody. Bye.